Alright you lot, welcome back to the channel where we take a cold hard look at absolute gems of internet. Today's focus? None other than noble Twonk, that delightful creature that blesses us with comments too clueless to ignore. We're dedicating this one to all Twonks out there who don't even realise that star at show, only to turn up ranting in comments, giving us even more gold to work with. You know who you are, or maybe you don't, which frankly makes it even better. But before we get started, don't forget to like, subscribe and all that bollocks, it helps channel grow. Right, let's get into this glorious spectacle of our very own Twonk in chief. Buckle up, because this is going to be one hell of a ride. Right then, let's get down to it. So picture this, our friend, the illustrious Twonk, steps up to the plate with a comment so classic it could be framed in a museum of internet idiocy. Scene? XDefiant's player numbers, a topic that's about as controversial as pineapple on pizza. Our mate Twonk is losing his mind over estimated player count. That's right, estimated. Not tattooed in stone tablets or all, but instead of reading description where I thoughtfully linked source, he's squawking about demanding I produce some mystical data that he's apparently incapable of finding himself. He goes, and I quote, "Where did you get your player accounts from, please? Let me know, cause XDefiant came out and had 1 million players in beginning. After a couple of weeks, count dropped to mass, so please give me your information where you got your player count, cause I can't find it. I can print out my own computer right now." Now, breathe that in for a second, cause if this don't scream, I don't know how internet works, I don't know what does. Mate, did you even look at video description? I practically gift-wrapped link, threw in a bow, and added a neon sign saying, "Click here for source, you muppet." But no, he'd rather fire off this semi-coherent rant as if I'm one who's keeping player counts a government secret. And let's not even start on how he claims he can print it out on his own computer. What are you doing, Twonk? Printing internet? Opening a printer will reveal secret Ubisoft player numbers like a mystical scroll. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not here to bash anyone for lack of reading skills. But if you're gonna storm comment section with demands, at least do your homework, yeah? And let's be clear, these numbers aren't exact. They're based on some solid community research, which, by the way, is far more reliable than any CoD fanboys ranting that XDefiant is dead. Honestly, if anyone's got numbers wrong, it's lads frothing over in COD's corner, convinced the game is centric universe. So to our noble Twonk, read description next time, yeah? It's not rocket science. Numbers are there, data's real, and if you don't like it, move on. But of course, that'd be far too reasonable, wouldn't it? Cause Twonk wasn't done. No. Our lad comes stomping back into the comments section with Alt Gracer bull in a china shop, slamming down a new thesis. He's ditched player numbers angle now though. Instead he's going full Wall Street, dragging Ubisoft stock prices into the ring like it's some sort of last minute trump card. He goes, "Are you serious? I can get your name at companies that are big that I get my information from. They're not some YouTuber. Why is Ubisoft stock market crashing? All their games are put out of trash." Ah, brilliant. So we've gone from discussing actual players to grand economic strategy of Ubisoft. What's next, mate? Full financial audit of my channel while we're at it. This is where it gets absolutely priceless. Now we're not just talking about XDefiant or even gaming numbers. No, Twonk's diving headfirst into the stock market. What is it with people who treat a drop in stock price like end of days for a game? It's as if stock market is some mystical judge at game quality. Look, Ubisoft's share price goes up and down, cause they're a massive corporation with investments, mergers, strategies, and yeah, sometimes actual business stumbles. This isn't exactly breaking news, but here's where Twonk gets himself tangled in his own point. If your argument is that Ubisoft's stock price determines whether a game is good, then we better start declaring some absolute classics as utter trash based on financial fluctuations. Was Fortnite worthless every time Epic had a rough quarter? Was Minecraft a flop before Microsoft bought Mojang? It's mental gymnastics that give circus act a run for the money. Now let's return to the main topic, shall we? XDefiant. Sure, it don't have numbers or a CoD mega launch. It's not supposed to. And here's kicker, it don't need to. This game ain't pretending to be CoD's twin brother. It's a fresh, fun, work-in-progress game run by a team that actually seems to care about feedback. Yeah, it's had issues, and yeah, some COD fans think that's inexcusable, but wasn't it COD itself that launched Black Ops 6 as a bug-infested mess? And yet barely a peep from COD devotees on that front. Funny how selective people's memories are. As for Ubisoft crashing stock, that's called business, mate. Sometimes it's high, sometimes it's low, and sometimes they make decisions that don't go as planned. But let's not pretend that Twonk here is some financial oracle. Whether Ubisoft turns things around on their own or teams up with another company, XDefiant's player count don't hinge on Twonk's doomsday prophecy. In short, stock price ain't gameplay. And Twonk, stick to what you know. Or, at least pretend to know. But don't think show stops there, folks. Twonk's back again. And this time, he's feeling bold. He rolls up inked at comments waving around Call of Duty player count like he's got some kind of ace up his sleeve. Call of Duty on Steam 244,000 players, he proclaims, as if he's just unveiled holy grail of game statistics. And right on cue, our saviour, sensible commenter Tatsuya-san 4101 steps in to provide a much needed reality check. Most of them are Battle Royale enjoyers, completely different from normal multiplayer thing. Now if Twonk had a shred of self-awareness, he'd call it a day. But naturally he doubles down instead, lobbing this zinger back. If XD had Battle Royale type, most at player base, what's left there anyway, would go to that as well. Multiplayer is multiplayer, my guy, regardless of which game mode type. Oh dear. Let's unpack this masterpiece, shall we? First off, Call of Duty's 244,000 players aren't all in one game, no matter how desperately Twonk clings to that fantasy. COD's numbers are spread across multiple games. Black Ops 6, Modern Warfare 3, Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone. It's basically a buffet of games and people are picking the favourites. Biggest chunk? Probably Warzone, because every game in 2024 seems to think that Battle Royale is only just on menu. How about you go find numbers for players in Black Ops 6 multiplayer? I believe that'll be more a fair comparison, don't you? And here's rub. Twonk's desperate to squeeze XDefiant into this Battle Royale box, as if that's one thing it's missing. But I'll tell you what, mate, XDefiant don't need Battle Royale mode. In fact, that would be most anti-XDefiant move they could make. Battle Royale has its place, sure, and COD's got that covered with Warzone, and all camping 10 kill per hour hide-and-seek nonsense that comes with it. But XDefiant, it's a fast-paced, chaotic arena shooter. No faffing about in fields for 20 minutes, no sitting in a bush waiting for one guy to wander past. This game is built for action. And here's where Twonk's argument goes from shaky to flat-out ridiculous. Multiplayer is multiplayer, my guy? If only it were that simple. But let's be real, Warzone players and arena shooter fans aren't exactly cut from the same cloth. Battle Royale players want suspense, big map, shrinking play zone. XDefiant players? They're here for fast matches, close quarters action, and objectives that keep you moving. Trying to jam a Battle Royale mode into XDefiant would be like sticking a parachute on a Formula 1 car and calling it a racing upgrade. So here's message to devs. And I know some of you are watching this content. No Battle Royale, lads. Don't gain to Twonks. Let COD keep the shrinking map and 30-minute matches. XDefiant has a chance to be something different, something fresh. Copying COD's Battle Royale would be like trying to turn a rock concert into a yoga retreat. Nobody asked for it, and it don't belong. But our Twonk weren't finished yet. No, not by a long shot. With all resilience a rubber hammer, he comes back for another swing. This time, he's in a proper tizzy, flinging out one last desperate attempt to get my attention. He goes, if your information is so correct, what is the player count? I can show you what player count is of Call of Duty. Mate, please. You're now asking for information I already laid out in plain sight, practically gift wrapped in video description. Let's humour him for a minute, shall we? Because Twonk here thinks he's holding some kind of trump card with COD's player count. Now, I don't know how many times we have to say it, but let's make it crystal clear once again. Comparing COD's 4-game player base to a single game like XDefiant is very definition are apples to oranges. It's like rocking up to a pub and bragging that your pint glass holds more beer than someone's half pint. Congratulations, mate. No one's impressed. So let's talk about this information is so desperate for. You got COD with its massive player base all spread over 4 different titles. each one feeding off numbers at others. Warzone alone accounts for a hefty chunk, and let's face it, that's a mod designed for exactly what COD fans want. Slow-paced, camp-heavy matches where biggest thrill is sitting still in just right spot. And that's fine, for them. But XDefiant, it's aiming for something entirely different, and it don't need 100,000 players on day one to prove its worth. And here's Twonk really misses mark. He thinks raw player count equals quality. Now let's just take a step back, shall we? Because if high player numbers were only measure of success, we'd all be playing mobile games with candy matching puzzles and power-ups every 5 seconds. Popularity doesn't necessarily mean something's good, it just means it's everywhere. And for anyone who's tired of COD's grind-heavy, engagement-optimised matchmaking nightmare, XDefiant's breath of fresh air they've been waiting for. But to circle back, yeah, Twonk, you can absolutely show me COD's numbers. You can hold them up, wave them around, print them out in bold neon letters if it makes you feel better. But unless you're comparing like for like, it's not flex you think. XDefiant doesn't need to prove it's better than COD by beating it at numbers game. It's offering something different, something that ain't trying to milk every last coin out at players with endless battle passes, skins and overpriced DLC. So let's sum this up. XDefiant in COD don't want to be COD, and, this may come as a shock, don't care about COD numbers. It's for players who want a proper arena shooter experience without baggage of bloated franchise weighing it down. And if that's not your cup of tea, Twonk, feel free to jog on over to the latest COD update and leave us to enjoy our chaos. Oh, you didn't think that would end, did you? Because our mate Twonk wasn't quite ready to let it go. Nope, he charges back in, armed with one last desperate swing at my so-called credibility. And here it is, folks. Don't developer pay bills? And if information is so wrong, what is player account? Right, so now we're down to accusing me of being some kind of paid Ubisoft shill. Twonk here reckons I'm just a puppet for developers, singing the praises cause, what, they're paying me in likes and upvotes? Mate, if Ubisoft was signing off checks every time someone defended XDefiant, they'd have gone bankrupt by now, and they'd still be better off than COD cash cow you keep harping on about. Now let's clear up a little something. Yeah, I like XDefiant. Yeah, I think it's got potential. But it's shocker for you, Twonk. I don't need Ubisoft's approval to have my opinion. My support for XDefiant isn't about shilling for a developer. It's about enjoying a game that ain't bowing down to COD template and ain't stuff with every engagement optimised gimmick under the sun. I mean, honestly, does Twonk think that every fan of this game is some secret Ubisoft operative lurking around in comments with hidden agenda? And then he comes back with numbers again. Despite me laying it all out there, showing me sources, providing details, is still fixated, demanding exact player counts as if those numbers alone will settle score. And mate, if we're really gonna keep circling back to numbers, then at least let's look at facts. Player counts for live service games are estimates at best. They fluctuate, they vary across platforms, and they're rarely definitive. But here's twist. Those numbers, they're still more reliable than Twonk's gut instinct that COD must be superior simply because more people happen to be online at any given moment. Here's the thing, XDefiant numbers aren't supposed to compete with COD's juggernaut stats, and comparing a single game's count with an entire franchise total is beyond absurd. It's like saying a new indie band isn't real music because they're not filling stadium like U2. Congratulations, Twonk. You figured out that brand new game has fewer players than an established behemoth that's been milking wallets for over a decade. Shall we send you a medal? Oh, but let's return to this idea of me being a shill. It's a bit rich, considering Twonk's one fluent comments in an XDefiant video just to bash game in favour of his beloved COD. You're calling me biased? You're one dropping in, slagging off a game you clearly haven't played, all cause it threatens your precious, comfortable COD bubble. You, mate, at definition a shill for status quo, for every cookie-cutter shooter that refuses to try something new. And that's fine if that's what floats your boat, but don't come here accusing me of shilling when you're doing more promotion for COD than I could ever do for Ubisoft. In end, Twonk's just proven my point. The fact that he's still here, still screaming into the void, tells me everything I need to know. XDefiant is clearly rattling a few cages, and that's exactly what it's supposed to do. It's shaking up scene, offering players something fresh, something a bit offbeat, and people like Twonk, they hate that. Because deep down they know that maybe, just maybe, they're not as loyal to COD as they thought. So Twonk, keep coming back, Keep ranting. Keep trying to call me out. Because every comment you leave, every furious response you post just proves that XDefiant has already done what it set out to do. It's gotten under your skin. And for that, I think Ubisoft deserves a round of applause. And perhaps the best part? Twonk can't seem to stay away. Every time he jumps back into comments, he adds fuel to fire, keeps conversation rolling, and shows just how threatened he feels by a game that dares to be somewhat different. Every "this is just a CoD rip-off" comment, every rant about player counts or stock prices, just more proof that XDefiant has kind of impact he desperately wants to deny. So here's a bit of advice for our Twonk. If you really think XDefiant is irrelevant, why not just move along? Why hang around in comments? Why keep watching videos? Why keep beating this dead horse? Because deep down he knows that XDefiant's doing something that's rattling the cage. And if that means he'll be back with yet another rant, we'll be right here, ready to enjoy the show. And for everyone else who's here to have a proper laugh and maybe even enjoy a decent arena shooter, sit back, grab your popcorn, and let's see what Twonk comes up with next. Because something tells me he's not done yet. Nah, you magnificent lot, we made it to end. And let's be honest, if you're still here, then you know exactly why this video exists. Twonk and his merry band of backseat critics are giving us an absolute masterclass in what not to do when trying to win an argument. It's been a wild ride of logical faceplants, pointless rants, and comments so off mark they should come with a GPS tracker just to find the way back to reality. But there's something beautifully ironic about it all, isn't there? Twonk thinks he's out here doing Lord's work, exposing so-called truth about XDefiant. Now, a quick shout out to those who claim we're strawmanning here. Ah yeah, these people who think nobody actually thinks like this, well, buckle up, sunshine, cause they absolutely do, and they're all here in comment section. Twonk and friends are real, and they're as predictable as clockwork, rolling up to any video about a game they claim to despise but somehow can't stop talking about. But you, my friends, you know what's what. You're here for a good time, bit of chaos, and a game that don't need to beat next CoD to be worth playing. And if you've laughed a long way, even better. So before we close this one out, don't forget to do the thing. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and leave your comments and questions below. Who knows, might just feature them on the video. Keep those comments coming, Twonk or not, and I'll see you next time, you magnificent